Welcome to the Create with Katrina Julia show by Fit Life Creation, where we talk all the things on wellness, faith, marketing, business, and travel to create a life and business you love. I've been there, friend. I've walked from fear to faith, self-hate to love, corporate to calling, and bondage to freedom, along with transformation in every area of my life. I'm right here with you, walking along on my own path to creating. So tune in so that you learn how to create a life and business you love, hands-on. Let's create it. No is a whole sentence. Let me repeat that. No is a whole sentence. Whether we are saying no to ourselves or others, no can be one of the most powerful words on earth. So as I reflect back on my transformational journey, and this, sentence, no is a whole sentence, came to me earlier this year. And I've been marinating on this episode before I put it together and receiving all sorts of divine downloads. So as I reflected back on my life and on my transformational journey, the last several years, yes, I said yes to several things, and the most important parts were my saying no to myself for things. So let me explain. Those of you that may be tuning in for the first time may not have heard my transformational story or taken a look at my bio page yet. So I'm going to give you some bullet points and then reference the page. So as I've transitioned from fear to faith, self-hate to love, devaluing to purity, corporate to calling, pain to purpose, bondage to freedom, and lies to love, there have been so many no's in order that I may say yes to what really matters. So let me explain. Shifting from fear to faith means increasing no's to stop fear from stopping me from having the courage to act in spite of fear, and or reframing those thoughts to where that fear shifts. So my life first is 1 John 4:18, perfect love drives out all fear. So for example, in the area of shifting from self-hate to love, this showed up with my saying no, increasingly and over time compounding the effects of those no's to unhealthy habits. So, for example, back 7+ years ago, I lost 55 pounds and have kept it off and have been alcohol free now 7+ years. And while there were times in the past where I would yo-yo from one extreme to the other and say no for a time, for a specific goal, for a specific, mark, New Year's, whatever, hot girl summer, whatever the case was. However, when I finally made a decision to do it for myself, to stay stable, and to be an inspiration and a model and a role model to others, and added on 4+ whys as to why I was making these choices to say no to, for example, no to eating a whole jar of peanut butter once a month after a workout. Clearly some hormonal imbalance. Side note, definitely check out my blog and the show on holy hormones. It's also a blog post at fitlifecreation.com/blog. And you can search, if you don't see it readily or right away, you can search by holy hormones, etc. That meant saying no to skipping meals. That meant to saying no to buying foods that were not aligned with the goals and the vision of being and becoming my best self and competing in fitness shows. That meant saying no to eating out with friends for several months when I knew I wouldn't be able to say no to certain things, that I wouldn't be able to say no to certain unhealthy food yet, that I wasn't powerful or strong enough yet. Later on, I was. And now I absolutely am. But there was a season I wasn't, and I was extremely aware of that. That meant saying no to staying out super late because I would get up in the mornings to do my fasted workouts and then eat and then have another workout. And then typically, depending on how I scheduled my day, having another workout later in the day sometimes. That meant saying no to alcohol. And at the time, I thought it was going to solely be for, several months till I competed. But I recognized and realized my past habits. So I decided to do another show 7 months later. So I had literally like a year of focused, aligned, healthy habits. And then I felt strong enough to both be and do it on my own while having accountability in communities like Herbalife Nutrition, like Peloton, and others. And then I competed again in 2018. And then now, even with travel in the 2020 through 2022 full time, those healthy aligned habits of all the no's that led to all the aligned yeses are now easy. Because with time, with consistency, with knowing when and how and what to say no to. And the same thing applies as I've dug deep into my own heart with devaluing to purity, saying no to sex in 2010 and beyond, choosing to say yes to my ultimate husband, not married yet. Did not think it was going to take 10 plus years, but I chose to repeatedly say no to devaluing myself, to devaluing relationships, to devaluing men and men that were not aligned in so many ways. Meaning if you can't get to know me as a human, as a friend, as a purpose partner, as a woman, and you can't delay gratification of sex now, then likely, and I'm speaking to men and women and all types of interests, etc., then if that has power over you now, how is that going to be in a committed relationship, or in my case, a marriage? Just because for the most part, I mean, hello, in the United States, reported stats say 50% of marriages fail. So clearly, signing on the dotted line or having the wedding that costs 10, 50, 100 grand or more does not guarantee faithfulness. And so I started to completely flip the script on delayed versus instant gratification in every area of my life, in case you haven't picked up on that trend. And my friends, that is one of the strongest character building moves you can make in any area of your life is saying no to, quote unquote, what looks easy, saying no to laziness, but yes to discipline, saying no to instant gratification. Now, I'm not going to say I don't enjoy hey, when results or things come faster than I thought. Of course I do. But not hanging my identity, my worthiness, like the last episode, I dove deep into this, my value on whether someone else says yes or no to me. No, taking that power back to say, no, I choose to not give my power away. And so those are some snippets on fear to faith, on devaluing to purity, and on self-hate to love. Now let's talk about corporate to calling. Corporate to calling, we are talking about saying no to aligning to communities or people or brands that I or you wouldn't even be friends with. Saying no to projects or opportunities or brands that also devalue me. Like I talked about this in the terms in the last episode of worthiness and overspending and under earning and the habits that can create a perpetual sense of lack or perpetual reality of lack, and recognizing where those things come from deep down inside that need healing, that need prayer, that need deliverance, that need journaling, that need Jesus. For you, that may be different things, and that's perfectly okay. And everyone is welcome here. All the love. And saying no to things that don't align. Like, for example, in earlier episodes this year in my creator confessions, I do those monthly. I talked about how even this year I've been saying no more and more and more. Yes, to myself, but also to others. So in this vein, I'm talking about also to others, saying no to 2 to 3 organizations that didn't feel fully aligned. It didn't feel like they were valuing efforts, or we weren't aligned on mission and vision, and or on timing, and or in the way that I was aligning. Because there's a very different flow when we're attracting and being versus when we are doing and forcing. And I'm not discounting at all faith, feeling, and focus. Our faith without works is dead. No, no, no. But it's very different when we are being and creating and manifesting from a state of gratitude, joy, love, and overflow and faith versus lack, doubt, scarcity, and fear. And I've been there, and likely you have too, because you listening to this episode is not by accident. But also in the terms of corporate to calling, it is also determining what to say no to within myself, no to overspending, no to under earning, no to devaluing myself and my gifts, talents, and abilities. And a lot of this may resonate with you. While it may also mean when and if or how I choose to give freely and receive abundance or receive in other ways beyond money, that is also a choice I am free to make and make sometimes. And I talked somewhat about my business model and whatnot in the last episode too, and how I choose to operate and create time and space and boundaries and flow as well in that episode. It's saying no and recognizing where, for example, evaluating, like in some of my recent episodes, I've dived deep into time batching. And as I've been digging deeper into worthiness and different habits or actions or platforms or people or just different situations where I'm not acting out of a space of worthiness, whether it's personal and or business or both, lifing, I recognized 2 travel platforms where I was knowingly but unknowingly submitting, where yes, I would get, for example, hotel nights and or press trips, worth thousands to tens of thousands of dollars in value in exchange for, marketing and or events and or social media. But I recognize, wait a minute, Katrina, this too can be another form of under earning and perpetuate the cycle of overspending, because if the only compensation is travel and yet you're producing content, like one video that's say worth $1,000 at least, and then content over a week that's worth $7,000 to $10,000 or sharing incredible strategies and different things, is this really aligned? And then the other thing that was really interesting is for a period of time, I wasn't getting responses on these two platforms. So from a spiritual level, I sat back and I was, praying and marinating and journaling. And I was like, wait a minute. This was God also telling me no, because for whatever reason, he didn't want me to align to these projects, or God didn't want me to align divinely to these projects or these people. Two, likely the way I looked at it and received divine downloads was that I was submitting also from a state of, okay, yes, I want to travel and have more adventure. But wait a minute, by investing my time and submitting for these two platforms that upfront they say, we're not providing any added compensation, although in my pitches I referenced it, but their intention going in isn't that. It opened up the space and the runway for me to say yes to submitting to more projects and more things that did align and create space for receiving in all forms, including wealth, including cash, including community. Today alone, I submitted for paid projects in Playa del Carmen. So that gives some examples of no is a whole sentence across fear to faith, self-hate to love, devaluing to purity, corporate to calling. And then the same things apply to the last three pillars where I tend to see the transformations of my life of pain to purpose. All these seven are pain to purpose, lies to love, and bondage to freedom. So as we shift from recognizing where in our lives we've created or invited or believed pain or chaos or challenges or difficulty. And I'm not saying at all this isn't part of oftentimes our human experience and the transformation. But when we repeatedly are thinking, feeling, and creating from a state of lack, doubt, disbelief, chaos, and confusion, then why are we surprised when the chaos and confusion continues to show up in our circumstances versus creating from a state of abundance, from a state of discipline, from a state of action and aligned action? It's very different when we're lining up that vision, those decisions, that vision, and those actions. And then shifting that, and the times we do go through pain, how is this happening for me? How may I use this for purpose to help others overcome faster, easier, simpler? For my creators and CEOs who crave creating community and cash. Then as I think about lies to love, as I started to increasingly say no to the lies that I believed in any or all of those areas of fear, of self-hate, of love, of wealth, of calling, of pain, and of freedom, I was saying no to scarcity in my time. I was saying hell yes to freedom in all forms. Freedom in time, freedom in location, freedom in expression, freedom to create, freedom in community, and freedom in finances. I was saying, and I started to say no to bondage. Bondage meaning the ways that our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions keep us trapped in a sort of self-made or created prisons in our minds, in our feelings, in our actions. Just because XYZ person works 9 to 5 in an office and makes XYZ amount of money doesn't mean that has to be your reality, friend. That was me 7, 10 plus years ago. And I began to transform that thinking. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. If nothing else, the pandemic showed us and taught us everything and anything can be flipped on its head. And I joke, but not joke. I had my pre-pandemic transformation that started back in 2013 with the pivotal points of shifting massively in my faith, losing a best friend to cancer, Janelle, and truly realizing I was not fully living out my life unapologetically and boldly. And I talk a lot about that in some story time episodes earlier this year in 2023 in January and February. You can dive deep in if you're curious on the stories you can share as you're expressing yourself and your content and your community and how you create and what you offer. So, no is a whole sentence, and no frees us up to say yes, to say hell yes to the things, the internal state, the fulfillment, the overflow, the alignment that then flows into the external states of actions, of alignment, of people, of communities, of business, of wealth, and it's a completely different feeling. Increasingly more and more, I feel myself in 2023 transitioning. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Like if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And at the same time, I'm recognizing where there's new levels and layers to where, yes, I've moved and transitioned so much from people pleasing and fear of man, but I'm recognizing where there's more. There's more transformation. And then me increasingly saying no to things that, yes, are good, but they weren't great, or they weren't fully aligned, or they weren't a hell yes. So, my challenge to you, friends, is to dive deep in your mental state, in your wellness, in your wealth, in your business, in your travel, in your time. And last but definitely not least, in your relationships, both romantic, familial, and friendships. And what are some opportunities to start saying no? No, this doesn't work for me. No, 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 thank you for thinking of me, but not right now. No, here's some references, but no, this part I can't do right now. And not apologizing. I think so many times as women, we're like, oh, I'm so sorry, but no. Do you hear men say that? No, no, no. And I'm learning more and more and more in that to keep my power. Like, for example, I was invited pretty last minute yesterday to go hang out with some ladies nearby. And I'm in the middle of my womanly time and literally had spent like some time outside working and then was watching a message by Apostle Catherine Crick and literally passed out for a nap. And I did get up around, I think, 7-ish or so. And I found out, oh, the ladies were still there and I could go, but I chose not to because I was still like super low energy. I thought about like, okay, yes, I would have a good time and so on and so forth, but I chose not to force it. And I chose not to explain myself. Silence is very powerful. We don't always have to explain why we're being, doing, or having, or adulting, or living in the way that we are. And sometimes we feel, especially I've noticed as women, this perpetual like need to explain or to justify or to even say, oh, I just did this one podcast or I just did this one blog. No, no, no. You posted a podcast episode. That is bomb. You did an Instagram post. That is bomb. Don't devalue or belittle any action. Every single action matters and it adds up and compounds. Just like if you compound a penny every single day, I think after 30 days, it's like what, 5+ million? I forgot the exact figure. I'm going to Google it now because I want to know and I forgot. One penny compounded 30 days. I remember this is always an activity. And our actions and our beliefs are encountered in the same vein. And I was close. It's 5.368 million if you compound a penny every single day for 30 sinking days. So apply that to aligned actions and everything else as well. So think about that. So I would love to know and share with me what you're saying no to, and where no is a whole sentence, and or where you're not responding, and what you're saying yes and hell yes to. The other thought that came to mind as well is in our relationships, whether that's love, family, and friends, and really diving deep into those boundaries and what you're allowing or inviting or accepting, and where there starts to be opportunities to say no and or to be silent when things or actions or other people's communications don't align. I heard once years ago, we train people how to treat us. And that is so true, my friends. I've learned it over and over and over. When we have respect for ourselves, especially in a calm yet strong and powerful way, and oftentimes that is with silence, that is with a simple no, that is with a here's this, but no to this, and or simply not responding. Not all energy exerted is efficient. Let me repeat that. Not all energy exerted is efficient or effective or excellent. Not all energy to be exerted is necessary. And that's something I constantly challenge myself on. Where am I exerting energy and for what and how and why? And that's not to say to not feel the full spectrum of human emotions and feel fear, feel sadness, deal with or heal or handle shame, guilt. You've heard me talk about on one of my recent episodes, it's okay to not be okay in therapy and EFT and EMDR. So let me clarify on that. So, once again, friends, no is a whole sentence, and you are free and empowered and a powerful human and have the freedom to honor and say no. So I would love it if you would leave a review on the show, drop your handle, your website so I can shout you out. Thank you to the 50 plus ratings on the show. They help others learn about Create It Like a Boss and all the incredible content that I share on faith, wellness, wealth, marketing, business, travel, and communities to create it like a boss. And tag me on social at Katrina Julia Fit, at Fit Life Creation. And definitely check out some of my recent YouTube videos on multi-passionate entrepreneurship and the recent episodes on the show, depending on if you rather see me on video and or on audio. And as always, friends, remember, create, transform, and inspire. You are born to. I'm coming in hot with fit and contentcations and retreats, calling all my creators to CEOs, boss babes, and multi-passionate women entrepreneurs. If you are ready to experience the ultimate blend of a getaway or vacation with fitness, creativity, and relaxation, get ready because our fitcations, contentcations, and retreats are here to take you on a transformational journey. We've got a Fitcation coming up September 10th through the 14th in Los Cabos. Join us for an adventure that combines fitness and a vacay like never before. From assessments to meal plans to chef experiences to workouts on the beach and by the pool and active adventures like our glass bottom boat kayaks. Our fitcations will elevate your well-being and leave you feeling transformed like never before. If that's not enough, or maybe you're looking for more, we've got a contentcation on the heels of the Fitcation, September 14th through the 17th in Los Cabos. If you are a content creator and you are looking to fuel your creativity, this is for you. Not only will you be at Instagrammable locations with mastermind workshops with AI, chat GPT, templates and content, creating Instagram reels, scheduling out 15, 30 plus days of content across and during the retreat, you will be blown away. And let's not forget where the retreat is in Los Cabos, with beachside vacation, beachside experiences, adventures, city tours. Unleash your imagination, gain incredible perspectives, and take your content creation to new levels to create it like a boss. Last but not least, because maybe you want to spend a lot more time in Los Cabos, we've got a retreat August 31st through September 7th, right before the two Cations, where you can elevate your mind, spirit, body, and soul with our transformative retreat experiences. This retreat combines it all. It combines mindset, wellness, marketing, business, and travel, along with the adventures. Our retreats provide space to relax, rejuvenate, and connect with incredible community. From empowering workshops to all-inclusive experiences to immersive activities, you will embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. Mention the podcast for 10% off when you complete the assessment at the link in bio and or fitlifecreation.com/retreats. And in the link in bio, you can find it via transformational retreats. And if you do any two of the experiences, you get $1,000 off, friends. Yes, $1,000 off. So let's create it on occasion. Chats on faith, wellness, money, marketing, business, and travel, so you create a life and business you already. Head on over to the blog, the podcast, and the freebies to jumpstart your transformation. If you're ready to dive into the online courses, the live events, or the retreat, and if you want to create with our community on an even deeper level, definitely check out our internships, our influencer collaborations, management, and brand engagements. Let's create it.